That's right. I like that little bass. Ooh, there we go. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Dan here on Drum Talk TV, coming to you from, where am I going? Globe, Arizona, up in the mountains east of Phoenix. And I have someone in my old neighborhood and like right near where my sister lives in Henderson, Nevada. Aaron Olson, the drummer for Infinity Rush, plays drums with Asia Featuring John Payne, and probably most importantly, is the winner of our Neil Peart Drumming Challenge that we had in our membership site, Drum Talk TV Brilliance, which you can all join and participate. We just wrapped up yesterday, the last day of the Stuart Copeland Challenge, and I was actually wondering if Stuart was going to enter some videos and kind of throw the judging curve off, but nope, he missed out. So now we're doing Gavin Harrison this month. But Aaron, let's start with that. Congratulations. You won first place. You got a gift certificate to your favorite music store, Drum Talk TV shirt, and you get to be grilled by me. How fun is that already? So I have to tell everybody that the song you submitted, and if I remember correctly, you only submitted the one song. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so free members can submit 2 submissions. Premium members can submit as many as they want. And not only can you, but you have to play to officially released music. It doesn't get muted, doesn't get pulled. It's our own platform. We're not breaking copyright laws, blah, 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 blah. And Aaron chose one of my favorite Rush songs, which is a song I played in a band when I was, believe it or not, it's almost embarrassing to say. I remember the going through the mental pain of learning La Villa Strangiato at 15 years old and then playing it in a band. Everyone was older than I am. And now I'm the older guy. But great job. So kind of a silly question, but I have to ask, why did you pick that song? I mean, such a huge catalog, and you picked one song. It was that song, and you won the challenge.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but when I posted in the video, I actually recorded that video like about 10 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Right here in this room. And I just did it on a whim. It was just for fun because I was in the band. It was called Permanent Waves at the time. It was a Rush tribute. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to do a video of me playing one of the Rush songs, but I figured an instrumental, because, you know, I don't have the singer or the bass player, would be the best thing to pick. So it's either La Villa or YYZ, and I just went with La Villa.
That's cool. It came out really great. There was some fun extra video production work, of course, with like some weird stuff going outside the windows and everything like that. That was fun.
Yeah, but, that was covering a mistake that I made, and because I don't know about filming very well. And when I first filmed it, you can't see it the way my band room's arranged right now, but there's a window right here because I filmed it right in this room.
Yeah.
It's a window right here. And when I put the film into my computer, it was real dark and grainy. So I had to brighten it up. And when I brightened it up, the glare coming out of the window was just intense. It just overwhelmed the whole video. So I had to put something over it. And what I decided to do, instead of putting something over it, I turned it into like a green screen.
Right.
I just put that bright white and instead of putting one still image, I had all these stock video clips in my computer, and I just started having fun with it, just grab this one, grab that one, grab that one. And
yeah,
probably put every video clip I have in my computer in it.
That's hilarious. I remember clouds and I think bubbles and maybe something underwater or something like that.
Yeah, there was a waterfall, and just playing around, I decided to run it backwards for a bit, and then it runs forward. It ended up being, it's like when I watch the video, it's my favorite part of it now. It's like I don't even watch me play. I watch what's going on in the background.
That's funny. I was watching you play, and then at first, okay, I saw something out the window, but then I realized it clicked in, like, wait a minute, that doesn't mix with reality exactly.
Yeah.
Funny. And folks, we'll show you where you can see that video and the other entries, as well as everything else that's been entered in previous challenges. We've done John Bonham, Keith Moon, Neil Peart, Phil Collins, Vinnie Paul, Stuart Copeland, and now we're moving into Gavin Harrison. But a double whammy this month because it's John Bonham's birthday month, May 31st, and this year's the 50th anniversary of Physical Graffiti. So a lot of great music to pick from there. So you can
Wow.
join the Gavin Harrison challenge, yeah, or the physical graffiti challenge, or both, and have fun with that. So I'm sure judging all this stuff's going to be a huge frenzy for us on our side. But Aaron, let's start with, since you're also in awesome Rush tribute band, and we'll show a couple clips. Where does Neil fit for you as far as drumming and musical influences and the band itself?
Well, I started a long time ago, and the original three bands that I listened to, the big three, were Kiss, Aerosmith, and Queen. And they all got great drummers, but they're kind of basic. But they're good bands to get started with learning.
Absolutely.
But then one day I heard Rush 2112, and it changed everything. And I went out, started buying their albums, and my mom had a big stereo console that had this like 16 speed, so I could slow the records down. Because back then, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have everything that's available today.
We didn't have running water.
Yeah. Well, here in Las Vegas, I don't know if you remember. Well, because I've been here like 52 years now. Back then, there was only 6 TV stations, and they all went off the air by about 11 o'clock at night. So you couldn't even see drums being played on TV, much less.
That was similar to where I grew up. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. Hey, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? And you could say about
59.
Okay, I'm 62. So we grew up in the same era, and I remember getting up really young as a kid and to watch cartoons and eat my cereal, turn on the TV, but that like weird Target thing with the Indian chief in the middle would be on with the tones, and you'd have to wait for 7 o'clock, I think, or 6:30 or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, and you get it for about 2 or 3 hours, and that's it.
Yeah. And there were channels 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 13, and 9 came later. I mean, this is like caveman days. We were dragging food into the cave and everything. But anyhow, go on. Yeah, there were no visual representations, so you were able to slow. And even if there was, it helps to slow it down and hear exactly what's going on, right?
Yeah. I would just because I wanted to learn exactly what this guy was doing that I was so impressed with, I'd slow these records down and just listen to him time and time again and try and pick apart every little thing he was doing, and just kind of did that with all those old Rush albums all the way up through Moving Pictures, and that's basically how I learned how to play Rush. Just picked it apart.
That's cool. 2112 was my entry point to Rush as well, the year that it came out, and a friend of mine brought it over, and it was just mind-blowing. I mean, I was listening to really great music like you were at the time too, but that was just different. Even though I was already into prog, that was just so different. And I think it was the kimonos that got me. I asked my mom to get me a kimono. And have you seen, obviously you saw them live, right?
Yeah, we've seen them several times.
Great. Same here.
We actually did a photo shoot one time years ago that I highly regret. And hopefully no one can ever find these photos on the internet. But we did a kimono photo shoot because we were in a Rush tribute. And
darn, I wish we had that. Well, we don't have that, but let's start with a clip, and then we'll talk more Neil, more Rush, show another clip, and then we'll talk more about your career and influences and anything else. Here we go with Limelight from Infinity Rush with Aaron on drums. spectacularismology. That was just great. It's so much fun to play their music, isn't it?
It is.
What are some of your favorites?
Rush songs?
Yeah, that you like to play.
I like Circumstances quite a bit.
Ooh,
That one's fun.
yeah.
I do like Xanadu because it's got all the glockenspiel, the wood blocks, the cowbells, the orchestra. But it's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
What else? All of them. I mean, they're all challenging. They're all
definitely
fun, very challenging.
I remember when Farewell to Kings came out. The whole album is, of course, legendary, but the song that got me that was so quirky from every angle is the whole middle solo section of Cinderella Man with that crazy offbeat on the drums, the funky bass, and Alex's weird off the wall stereo panning squeals and things. Just that bum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-bum, ba-bum, diddle-da-dum-da-dum. It was just so different, but yet fit right on that album. Just so much great music over the years.
That was actually my first Rush album.
Was it?
Yeah, I heard 2112 first, and that got me sold on Rush before I even had their albums. But Farewell to Kings was the one that had just come out, and this town being smaller than it is now, that was the only album I could find on the shelf. So I bought it. Then my second album was All the World's a Stage, and I don't think I actually got 2112 until about 3 or 4 albums in.
I followed the same exact path. That's weird. I heard 2112 first, went to All the World's a Stage, Farewell to Kings, Hemispheres, then got 2112. And Hemispheres was the first tour that I saw. And I saw them twice in a row, a couple days apart, first at the Long Beach Arena, and then at a really small venue that at the time was also used as a boxing arena. It was an old airplane hangar called the San Bernardino Swing. And there was no room for their projection system, no pyrotechnics. It was like maybe a quarter the size of the Long Beach Arena. So it was a whole different experience. It was great.
It's cooler though, because it's more intimate.
Yeah, it was like seeing them at a club, but playing the new stuff at the time. It was just great. And they went right from Cygnus X1 into Hemispheres all the way through, and it was just magical. I
didn't get to see them for the first time until like the 90s.
Oh, okay.
It was a long time, because again, the very few concerts rolled through town. And the one time, I think on the Moving Pictures tour, for some reason, I missed that show, couldn't go. But
that's so funny because now you can't get rid of bands. They're doing residencies. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think Van Halen was playing either the day before or the day after them at the Atlantic Theater. Anybody that's been in this town for a long time that was into rock and roll should remember like the Rush Van Halen thing. I could be wrong about that because the mind is not 100% anymore at this age, but I think Van Halen and Rush played back-to-back shows.
That sounds familiar, actually. I remember them both touring around that time, so that's very likely. And I want to give a shout out to Damien Sabatini. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Saying, wow, very cool. Chiming in from San Diego. Folks, let us know not only where you're watching from, but feel free to chime in on any of this, just on the off chance there's any Rush fans out there. And on that topic, let's show another clip of Aaron with Infinity Rush, and then we'll talk about Asia featuring John Payne. Check this out. People might recognize this song. Like, this is a deep cut. That might be the second most air drums played song ever, next to In the Air Tonight, I think. It's like the whole audience
Yeah.
played drums during that song in the show, but that was just great.
Or the drum solo section of Tom Sawyer.
Oh yes, thank you.
Whenever we do a show, the whole audience gets in there.
Yeah, and nails it too.
Yeah.
And
Way better than me a lot of times.
right. YYZ's just bouncing the whole time, you know.
Yeah.
And then the dun 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 dun, hey, dun 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 dun, dun hey,
Yep.
in 2112. You know, everyone's got their thing. I'm sorry, what is the bass player's name?
Dan Stover.
I love Dan's shout out to the steampunk motif he has on the cover that's covering up his pedal board. On the front, I noticed little gauges and tubes and stuff. That was nice and clever. That was cool. Great.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
you
he
guys,
built that himself.
what's that?
He built that himself.
That's so cool. And I'm hoping to get to see you guys because you mentioned you're playing in Tucson. And give a shout out about some shows. June 7th, I think you said?
Yeah, June 7th, we'll be at the Rialto Theater in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay. It is a weekend.
I believe it's a Saturday.
It is. Stephen Shinder, our producer, I'm calling out to now. If we don't have an interview scheduled that day, because I know we have a slot, go ahead and take that available slot off. I really want to go see your guys' show. If we have an interview, I'll talk to them and we'll see what we can do. And where else are you playing? And how far out do you go?
Well, with most of my gigs these days are with Asia Featuring John Payne, and we go all over the place. Our next show is in a couple weeks in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Great.
So just wherever the gigs are, we go to. Infinity Rush, right now we're a little limited. We're kind of just getting going again because we used to be Permanent Waves, and then we got a new guitar player like 4 years ago. And then now we've got a new agent. We retooled the whole show and getting everything up to speed. So gigs are it's just getting moving now.
That's cool though.
The thing in June is probably the only show that we'll do this year. Well, we did one back in March, but the June one will be the last one for 2025. And then I think we're doing a couple shows in Canada in 2026.
Oh, wow. They won't scrutinize you.
Yeah. They don't know who Rush is, right?
It's like a Black Sabbath cover band playing in Birmingham, for goodness sakes. Right?
Yeah.
That's great, though. Where did you play in March, Aaron?
Right here in town. We played at the Santa Fe Chrome Room.
Oh, okay. Cool. Awesome. We're back and forth in Vegas a lot. We got to meet in person at the Las Vegas Drum Show, but 7 of our kids, and I don't even know how many of our grandkids live in Vegas. So we go back and forth a lot. So cool. Very cool. Let's talk about Asia Featuring John Payne. Start out with, how did you get the gig, and what was the experience like getting the gig, and what points of the catalog do you guys focus on?
Okay. Getting the gig. I just got lucky. A friend of mine that was in a band I was in, he was playing with them. And when the time came up, they needed a drummer to fill in for a few slots. He threw my hat into the ring, and I get a call out of the blue from John Payne. Actually, it's a text. And, Aaron, would you be interested in filling in for a couple of shows? He's English, of course.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I was like, yeah, of course I'll do it. And then just been doing shows with them ever since. It's almost 3 years now.
Oh, wow. That's great. Is the other guy still waiting to come back, or?
No,
okay.
the timing was kind of weird because the shows I filled in for him, he was in the process of moving back to Michigan, and John lives right here in town.
Yeah.
So I guess they kind of needed someone that's more local, because we all kind of fly out from here and go to wherever we're going to go. So it's tough to have members that live, over 1,000 miles away, I guess.
Yeah. Flying in from different areas to different areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. And what points of the catalog do you guys typically cover when you play live?
A lot of the first album, because that was their biggest album, of course.
Yeah.
John Payne, his era, he did 7 or 8 albums, I want to say. So we do a handful of those, and there's some really good material on there.
That's
That we're doing. So typically we only do maybe 45 minutes of Asia because we do shows with other singers. Like our next show, we have Lou Gramm, so we're going to do we do mini sets. We'll do like a mini set of Asia, then a mini set of Foreigner with Lou Gramm, and then also like a mini set of Journey with Steve Augeri.
Oh,
So
wow. That's awesome.
Shows like that.
I saw Steve with Journey at what used to be called the Coors Amphitheater in San Diego, Chula Vista, actually. And he was amazing. I mean, so he's back to singing. I didn't know he was back to singing.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, he has a tremendous voice. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the first time I met him and a few of the other guys in Journey at the time. But that's awesome. That's so good to hear that he's active. I feel like an idiot. I didn't know. That's cool. What kind of shows do you have coming up with John Payne?
Well, we've got that one in 2 weeks. We're doing with Steve Augeri and Lou Gramm. We're actually going to do a blues show in just outside of Denver, Colorado, in about 3 weeks, which is a new thing that John wants to do, and sounds pretty cool. Like it's a British blues invasion.
Nice.
And then we some of the other artists we play with, Fran Cosmo from Boston. So sometimes we do Boston stuff.
Great.
Jason Sheff from Chicago. We play with him a few times.
Yeah, great.
Alex Ligertwood, Santana.
Yeah.
Do shows with him. Just they kind of put these shows together, and whoever's available and willing to play with us.
Yeah. No, that's great. You get to play all kinds of legendary music.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I really like the Asia stuff, though. It's working with John. It's just to me, it's been a real blessing. He's a great guy, and I love playing the Asia stuff. And
that's great.
It's good material. It's good material to play.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was Carl one of your influences as well?
I'd have to say not really until I started playing with John.
That's cool. You had to pick his stuff apart, right?
Yeah. There's like one song in particular, like Wildest Dreams.
Yeah, I had the feeling that was gonna be it. Yeah, love that.
Yeah, when it got to learning the drum solo section.
Yeah.
I saw that other drummers would kind of just do their own thing, and that's cool and everything, but it wasn't working for me. I wasn't catching a good vibe for it. So I tried to do something more in the style of Carl Palmer, and that wasn't working either. So I had to go back to my roots, and I had to take that drum solo section and pick it apart and just do it just like Carl did it on the album, and just learn it. And so that's what I did, and it works. And now that I've got it memorized, it's like I don't have to think about it. Just play the part like you know it.
That's great. I love that. Again, just such fun music to play as well. I remember when that album came out and running to the record store. I still have the original LP. Oh, and I saw them at the Santa Monica Civic on the first tour, which is a fairly small theater, maybe 3,000 people, something like that, 4 maybe, and met them. Afterward, they did a signing at Tower Records, and it was the first thing I ever heard of anything like that. And all 4 of them signed the sleeve. I still have all that stuff, but what a great show that was. Just a tremendous experience to see them play that live. And they opened with the beginning of Fanfare of a Common Man, but without the trumpets intro. It just started out with the shuffle, and it was really cool. And then it stopped and went into the last song on the album. He's having a senior moment and can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't know the order of the songs on the album either.
What is the name of that song? Yeah, it's killing me. I even recorded a swing version of it on an EP.
Would it be Time Again?
Yes, thank you. Time Again. Yeah.
Yeah, we play that one all the time. Now that one's a fun one.
Yeah, that's a great song. Great song.
When you said swing, that was like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we hardly did anything to the arrangement. The guitar solo, though, Steve Howe's guitar solo was replicated by a trumpet player, and it was just amazing. I think I lost a filling with the highest note that guy hit. It was incredible. It was like a step above a high C. It was crazy. But yeah, fun times. So who are some of your other influences, and when did you get started on drums, and why drums?
Well, that's an interesting story. I started when I was about 10 years old, and I remember it's a summer after like fourth grade, I think it was. I think that was when I was 10 years old. I went to visit my brother in California, and he played Kiss Destroyer for me. And I was like just most other kids, you listen to music, but you don't know that you're really into it. But when I heard Kiss Destroyer, it's like, wow, this is what I want to do. I want to be a musician.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went out and I actually bought Kiss Alive. Kiss Alive was the first album I ever bought, and I still love that album to this day. So I started learning how to play drums from that because it was just a thing to do. Me and my friends back then, I used to hang out with a bunch of potheads, being one myself, former pothead. We'd all get stoned and put on records and just sit there, all stoned out and just kind of tap on stuff.
Wait, but you weren't 10 still, were you?
Well, let me put it this way. I started at a young age, but I also quit at a young age too.
Okay, good.
I quit smoking pot when most of my friends were just starting.
Good. It's funny.
But I noticed that like I could tap better than most of my other friends, So it just became a thing like maybe I should become a drummer.
Wow,
And
that's awesome.
got a cheap pair of sticks at Woolworths, started being on my mom's couch. But we were really poor, so I didn't have a drum set to play on until I was 20. I played drums for 10 years without actually having a drum set.
Wow.
I would air jam in the middle of the living room, put a chair out there, put on my records, and just air jam.
You got it in the neurology of what.
Yeah, you just kind of know your snare drum's here. So if you take, I got a stick right here. If you take a stick, and you know that when the snare hits, and your hi-hats over there, and you build your imaginary set however you want it.
Right.
Of course, I had the big 16-piece Neil Peart kit in my imaginary living room. So I would just do that all the time. And
wait, did you push like the coffee table out of the way and stuff to set up your giant air drum kit?
I would just have make sure I have enough room so I'm not hitting anything in the room.
Right. Exactly.
But like I said earlier, Kiss, Aerosmith,
Queen,
and Queen. Those were the three bands I really like cut my teeth on. Just start learning their stuff and get it down. And I to this day I think what three bands would be better to start learning to play drums to.
Yeah.
Those, it's not too difficult to where it's going to discourage someone, but it is challenging enough to where it keeps you interested and keeps you going.
You got to reach. Yeah, absolutely.
And then later on, Rush came around. And it's like, well, all right, we're on to the next level here.
Yeah. That's cool. What else do you do? Do you do sessions? Do you teach? Do you play with other people?
I play with some other bands. Right now, I'm kind of whittled down to mainly just the Asia and Infinity Rush thing.
Cool.
And I play guitar. I'm trying to focus a lot on writing and recording right now because Asia is supposed to be working. We're supposed to start pretty soon on a new album that John wants to release. And so I'd like to put in a couple submissions, see if anything could be possibly considered for the new album.
Nice. That's
if
great.
John's watching.
That's great. And if not, might you put together your own project with that?
Yeah. I've done some parodies in the past and won a couple prizes for some of the parodies I did. I'll send you links to it later.
Yeah.
They're not exactly G-rated. How would you say?
Okay. We'll have Steven screen them. That's cool. For folks who didn't see it, I want to show one of your other clips again. And then Steve will drop a link and we'll tell people how they can go see your winning submission. But folks, in case you joined us in the middle of the interview or missed the part where we showed a couple clips of Aaron playing with his Rush tribute band, Infinity Rush, here's a short clip that is just spectacular. Check this out. Trying to decide which one. Okay, let's go with this one. awesome. And I should have done a better job of remembering everybody's names. I know you got Dan on bass, vocals, and keys. And what's the guitar player's name?
Mark Cole.
Mark Cole. Great job by Mark getting the sounds. And I notice on the stand in the background, he's got the white ES 335, like Alex's first main guitar. That must sound great. Does he use that on some of the older songs?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
That's cool.
He's kind of our technology, gets the sounds dialed in guy. He's really good at that kind of stuff.
That's great. Great job. Anything else you want to promote?
Right now I wish I had some more of my originals done. I could have sent you some of that material.
Come on, when you have them, you're welcome to come on. We'll play them. We'll talk about them. Absolutely.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Great. And Stephen, why don't you go ahead and drop a link and some info in the comments? We're live unless you're watching this on the archive, but this is on Facebook and YouTube Live. Steve will drop a link in and some info on how you can go into the membership site for free and check out not only Aaron's winning submission, but the other Neil Peart tribute submissions, which were just all really great.
There was a lot of really good players.
Yeah,
I'm actually quite surprised I came in first.
It was really tough, very tough. There were some, let's just say there were some arguments, okay? And they've all been tough. But we've got, like I said, the Stuart Copeland one just finished. We've got Gavin Harrison right now. The month before Stuart, we did Vinnie Paul. We did Neil. We've done Phil Collins. Two guys named Keith Moon and John Bonham. Look them up. And we've got the rest of the year planned out. Physical Graffiti Drumming Challenge for the month of May, also in honor of John Bonham.
Can I enter something for that one, the Physical Graffiti, or am I only allowed to do one?
No, over and over and over. Yeah, everyone could submit to as many times, to as many challenges as they want. And if they're a paid member, they get to submit as many as they want. 2 for the free members, and since you won, if you're not already a premium member, you get that as well. So we'll talk about that off air. Let me know. But yeah, we'd love to get more and more submissions. It's fun. Not only is it fun to watch everybody, I'm one of those people, I like watching other people play, and I think that's something about drummers that often we're the first to a show to watch who's before us or hang out after, watch who's after us. And I think we're a little more communal than some other musicians. I won't name any instruments like guitars or keyboards, but anyways, wait, what? But the other thing was I gotta say is that there's a new judging criteria where you can invite your followers and your fans to vote for your video. All they need to do is type vote as a comment in any of your videos, and that counts as a big part of the weight to the judging now. So if people go to the page that Steve's going to drop in there, it'll give you the current criteria. If you look at the Gavin Harrison formula, and also, I'm sorry, Stuart Copeland, as well as when we started doing it, and you'll see what we grade people on. It's like getting that drummer's sound is a big part of it, the accuracy, and having your people vote is a big part of it. We thought that make it fun. So it's kind of the dig me factor for their friends and followers. So yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see that. Where can people find you, Aaron? And I don't mean your home address in Henderson. I mean online. Where can they find you?
My Facebook page.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I kind of keep quiet to myself unless I'm playing. And I typically don't promote my out-of-town gigs too much, just because I know a couple of people that have had their houses robbed. I mean, we've always got somebody here, but you just don't want anyone even coming over to attempt a robbery while you're out of town.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally think that.
Yeah, I'm a little shy on promoting myself and stuff, so that's kind of weird, I know, but it's
okay. Yeah, when you have your music ready to show off, though, ring me up and let's get you back on so we can kind of show that off.
That'd be awesome. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. We'd be very curious to see what you come up with, and see what happens. That'd be great. And,
in fact, when we're done here, I'll send you a link to a couple of my parodies. You might get a quick giggle out of those.
I would love that. I can never have too many of those. Awesome. And folks, thank you for taking time, whether on the live or on the archive, wherever you're watching this, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Vimeo, or X, or whatever he calls it this month. And stay tuned for more interviews. And May 4th, coming up this Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific. I'll explain that in a minute. 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and that would be 4 o'clock p.m. if I've got that right in the UK. We've got John Weathers, the drummer from Gentle Giant, joining us so early because he lives in Wales and he wanted to do it where it would be easier for him on his time, which of course we're more than willing to honor. That'll be fun. We've got more interviews and more fan Q&As in the membership site. And Tuesday night, we have a game show, a music trivia game show twice a month. This Tuesday is honoring women in music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. 3 rounds. We've seen people win by guessing. $50 prize package for each round, and then the 3 winners face off for a 4th round. Join us for that. Sign up for our membership site email list. You'll get all the info. Enough. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Aaron, hang on the line with me. And thanks, everyone, so much for joining us. And thank
you, everybody.
Thanks.